Hey, so this is Grant with GrandSlamNetwork.com. I'm here with Ryan Bates out in New Mexico. It's a season opener of 2012. We've been out turkey hunting. We've got 2 on the ground. Several other people in camp already have birds down. We're out about to go roost some birds here in the evening. So Ryan, about when in the evening, when's the best time to start roosting these birds? Do you have to wait till it's dark or the sun goes down? When do you typically start to roost?
Well, the New Mexico Merriams will start flying up about when it's getting a little dark for you to see what's going on around you, is when they're going to start flying up into the tree.
Okay, and so do you use an owl hooter, crow call? What do you use to roost these birds with?
Well, out here I prefer to use common crow call, and you can pick this up at any sporting goods store. Doesn't have to be anything special, just anything that makes a loud, abrupt, sharp noise.
Okay, and so I noticed when I came out here, my crow call, I did it and kind of sounded like a crow, but I noticed yours had like a few sharp bursts. What are the advantages to doing it like that?
Well, you don't necessarily need to sound like a crow to get these birds to what we call shot gobble. You can sound like a crow, there's nothing wrong with that, but I typically just do it real sharp and quick and then be quiet. And if you're carrying on like a real crow does, you might miss the gobble that comes after your shot. The time that you roost varies as you get later on in the season when it gets darker a little bit later. Right now, typical roosting time, what is it, April 18th or 19th, would be about 7:45 to about 8:15. And they will gobble a little bit afterwards, but it's the best times to do it when it's not too dark outside.
So, I mean, that's a good question. After the sun goes down and it gets dark, you know, how late will they gobble on the roost?
If it's pitch black outside and you're not seeing the sun going down in the west, they're probably not going to gobble, but it's not out of the question. But that peak time is, 15 minutes before sundown and 15 minutes after sundown.
Okay, so in the morning time, are you going to use a crow call, an owl call? Are you going to sound like a crow? Are you going to do your sharp burst, same thing we're doing tonight?
Well, out here in New Mexico, we don't have near as many owls as out on the East Coast, so we prefer the crow call, not only because it's louder, but the birds have a tendency to gobble better at a crow call than an owl hoot around here. So right now we're going to give a little demonstration about how I go about roosting my New Mexico Merriams. And this is, like I said, I'm not going to sound like a crow necessarily, just anything sharp and loud to get these birds to shot gobble. And the key is to have any of your buddies around here not shuffle their feet around, kicking rocks around. Everybody's got to be real quiet after that so you can hear any birds that potentially will gobble back. Here we are at our first stop at our New Mexico Merriams roosting expedition. Again, common crow call, sharp, loud. This is how we do it. Two birds gobbled back at that one. One up here about 300 yards, the other one about 500 yards away. So while we're doing this roosting, what we're going to do is travel every quarter to half a mile. It could be any paved road or graded road, and we're just going to go and find either a little side canyon that comes out like this where they could potentially roost, or just an area that we know holds water or good roosting habitat. And we'll go and get out of the truck, everybody's real quiet, and then blow your crow call. Like, again, you don't have to sound just like a crow, just anything loud and abrupt will get these birds to shot gobble. Two birds gobbling back. And these birds have a tendency to roost on north and east facing slopes, so that sort of narrows it down about where we're going to try and locate these birds. Here we are on our second stop of our roosting expedition. What we have here is a nice area where we think holds birds. There's a few cuts that come down there that could potentially have some roosting habitat. We've come about a half a mile down the road, so let's try it again. Now, I don't know if you could hear that on the audio, but there were some birds that gobbled a long ways off the road up there. And hunting New Mexico Merriams, there's a lot of public land, which also means there's going to be other hunters that are hunting the same birds that you might be hunting. So it might be a good idea if they're further off the road, because other people might not want to put forth the effort to hike up the ridge like that to kill the birds. This is our third stop on our roosting expedition here in New Mexico. Again, we've come about a half mile down the road. Another good looking spot. Let's see what happens. You know, not every attempt was going to get a gobble, but we're still going to keep going. We're going to cover as much ground as we can within that 15 minutes before to 15 minutes after sundown, and we're going to try and roost as many birds as we can, because hunting public land, you never know if you're going to show up to your bird in the morning and there's already going to be another truck parked where you expected to park and get up to the bird.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for hanging out on GrandSlamNetwork.com. I'm Grant Carmichael. This is Ryan Bates out of New Mexico. Be sure to get out here, finish up your slam. New Mexico is a great state to get that Merriam. There's some great hunting. There's lots of public land. How much public land do you have in the area?
Millions of acres.
Millions of acres. This is an effective way to roost those birds. It worked for us. It's going to work for you. Enjoy your hunt.